Hello. Okay, so I think I got it working. Sorry, I've not really been available. Just been busy and also now a little sick, so that's fun. But if we refresh, everything goes to zero. If I go up, our power goes up. If I go down, our charging goes up. But our power is reset and the inverse. I guess I should be in drive to, do this, but and it's a lot smoother because we're not using chain. We're using detect and then animating it with an actual animation curve instead of just jumping to individual values. Okay, so I'm going to break down how I did this, mostly because I realized I probably won't be able to fit you in, which I feel bad about, but I wanted to be able to get to it, and I realized the only time I have is I worked on I started at 6:50, so I worked on this for 20 minutes. Now I'm doing the video about 7:30. Yeah, so anyways, I'm going to kind of break down what I did, because instead of wanting it to be on the same set of values, what I realized is we essentially want two different variables controlling whether or not charging goes up and power goes up, because charging is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but we want power to be at 0, even if we go down one value in our speed, in our kind of power thing we've done earlier. So what I did is I got rid of our existing set of conditions. We had one right here, and I added 3 new variables. I added check power change, which is supposed to be spelled correctly. But essentially all I'm doing is I'm taking the current power and I'm assigning it to it. So I'm holding that value. So let's say we start at 0. And then immediately after, I'm assigning my power. So that's whether I go up or go down with power. So this way it starts at 0, and then in half a millisecond, it goes to 1. So now I have 0 and 1. So now I could essentially add a detect to my power. So whenever our power changes, I now have its current value and the value it was before. So this is how I can tell whether it's going up or whether it's going down. So here, this was the initial setup. So I essentially just checked my power. If it is less than the checked, so the one that I assigned right before I changed the power, if it is a less than, so if it was 0 or if it was, let's say it was 2, and then all of a sudden I go down a power, so now it's 1. So it's 2 and 1. If it's less than, that means we're, breaking. So that means I want our blue to go all the way to 0. I want it to essentially reset. So I want it to go to 0. I also want our power up. So this is where we're going to use our new variable that I was creating, power up. So this is going to control our blue, whether it's going up or down, essentially. So this is at 0. Then I'm just going to focus on blue, and then I'll do green. So essentially I have it going to 0. If we're ever going down in ticks, if we're braking. If we're going up, if we're hitting the gas, I want to take our power up. I want to add 1. So the same thing we were doing earlier, we're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we're doing it with just one individual variable for power up. So if our power is going up, then we have that in one more condition, which is, again, if our power is going up, so if it is greater than our check, then I want our blue to, instead of assigning it to a chain, I want it to take its current width, so we've already scaled it to 0, and I want it to essentially move up in intervals of 10, just because I chose 10 since that's what we used for our slider before. So as the user is holding down, as this number is going up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I want it to move based off of that interval. So I'm scaling it, and I could have used an arbitrary value like 50. 50 would have been pretty close. What I'm doing is I'm taking the wrapper around the gradient. So this is our gradient inside here. It fills up this wrapper. I want to know its width, and then I divide it by 10. So every time it scales, it's going to move essentially by 1/10 of its total width. But since we change our gradient, I can't use the gradients divided by 10, because if I use that, when it's at 0 and you divide by 10, it's still 0. So I'm using the total frame on top. So this way, I preview, when I scale up, again, I'm taking the width of the container around it, I'm dividing it by 10, and I'm moving it up by an increment. So I'm not moving to a specific value, I'm moving by a specific value, so it's relative. So that I have for blue. And the other big thing is that I needed to do, I think I've showed you this before, is a start jump. So essentially, when it starts, I used it with jumps. The second that this loads in, I'm just going to scale it straight to 0, and I'm going to do that. I should do it instantly, so there's no blip. You can't see it. So if we preview again, I refresh. No blips even happened. Everything starts at 0. I hit drive. I go up. You can see that increment going up. And I hit 10. But the second I go down 1, just at all, we're going to say that, oh, our value of our power up, you're going to see how it goes to 0, which is showing that also during this time, our scale of our gradient should go to 0 as well. This way, since our power might be equal to 9, because of just how this is existing, our power up is equal to 5, and we can see that here. So now our power's at 18, but our system is still working fine. I did almost the exact same thing for green, just in reverse. So, detect my power. If it is greater than, so if we're going up, scale our gradient to 0. And again, this is by pixels. If it is going down, make sure our power down is equal to 0. If it's going up, we want, or if it's going up, we're going to keep it to 0, as I had just done here. If it's going down, we want our power down to kind of go up in intervals of 1, as we have here. And then again, we're going to add another condition which says my power, just like our blue, if it is less than this time though, if it's going down, and if our power down is less than or equal to 10, as we're also moving up 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. So, same thing here. I'm taking its mask, its wrapper for charge, dividing it by 10, doing the same thing, starting at 0 and working our way up. So hard reset, 1, 2, 3. I guess it still works because we never set it to not work with park and drive. But as you go up, full, start doing some jan braking, come back up again, and start going up. There we go. Whee! Well, we're really cruising. Okay, now we're slowing down. We're coasting. We're going up again, holding on the power. Yeah. Alright, there you go. Hopefully this should help. Bye.